Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, as reported at Legacy.com the first week of November 2023. Legacy.com is where you can find any obituary or publish an obituary in any newspaper in America and beyond. Actor Peter White died November 1, 2023, of melanoma at the age of 86. He had recurring roles on such TV shows as All My Children, Sisters, Dallas, and many more. White is also being remembered for his performance in The Boys in the Band, both on stage and in the movie adaptation. A note to remember, sometimes personal information, such as someone's cause of death, is not announced immediately by their family or the authorities. When a cause of death has not been officially announced, we do not report on rumors. Every family has a right to their privacy. Astronaut Ken Mattingly died October 31, 2023, in Arlington, Virginia, at the age of 87. He went to the moon with Apollo 16, piloting the command module and performing an EVA. He is also being remembered for his work with Apollo 13. He was originally intended to pilot that mission, but when illness kept him on Earth, he provided crucial mission support that helped save the lives of the crew after an explosion. Mattingly was a U.S. Navy veteran who retired as a Rear Admiral after serving for almost 30 years. Another historic Apollo astronaut also passed away this week. Frank Borman died November 7, 2023, at a hospital in Billings, Montana. He died of a stroke at the age of 95. He was the commander of Apollo 8, which made history in 1968 as the first mission to fly around the moon. He is being remembered for his historic Christmas greeting delivered live on TV as Apollo 8 orbited the moon. Borman was a U.S. Air Force veteran who retired as a colonel after a 20-year career. Model Helen Williams died July 26, 2023, at a care center in Moorestown, New Jersey. She died of Alzheimer's disease at the age of 87. Her death was announced this week. She was active during the 1950s and 60s, frequently seen on the covers of magazines like Ebony and Jet, and in ads for such brands as Kodak and Budweiser. Williams is being remembered as one of the first black models to become nationally known. Basketball player Walter Davis died November 2, 2023, in Charlotte, North Carolina. He died of natural causes at the age of 69. He was an all-star with the Phoenix Suns in the 1970s and 80s, the team's all-time leading scorer. Davis is also being remembered for winning a gold medal with Team USA at the 1976 Olympics. TV personality Robbin Bain died October 21, 2023, in Southampton, New York. She died of breast cancer at the age of 87. She was a Today girl on NBC's Today, offering beauty and fashion tips on the popular talk show. Bane is also being remembered as a model and the winner of the Miss Rheingold contest in 1959. Actress Shannon Wilcox died September 2, 2023, in Los Angeles at the age of 80. Her death was announced this week. She appeared in movies like Songwriter, Frankie and Johnny, 6 Weeks, and The Karate Kid. Wilcox is also being remembered for her recurring role on TV in Dallas. Figure skater Oleg Protopopov died October 31, 2023, in Interlaken District, Switzerland, at the age of 91. He won 2 Olympic gold medals in the 1960s, skating alongside his wife and longtime partner, Ludmila Belousova. Protopopov is being remembered for his innovations in figure skating. He and Belousova introduced 3 death spirals that are still used in competition today. Martial artist and actor Pat E. Johnson died November 5, 2023 in Los Angeles. He died of natural causes at the age of 84. He was the stunt coordinator who choreographed the fights in The Karate Kid, and he appeared in the movie as a referee. He is also being remembered for his stunt coordination for Mortal Kombat and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as well as for his work in martial arts with Chuck Norris. Johnson was a U.S. Army veteran who learned martial arts while stationed in South Korea. Actor Evan Ellingson died November 5, 2023 at his home in Fontana, California at the age of 35. He was a child actor known for such movies as My Sister's Keeper. Ellingson is also being remembered for roles in TV shows like CSI Miami, 24, and Complete Savages. Cody Dorman died November 5, 2023, of complications from Wolff-Hirschhorn syndrome at the age of 17. While fighting a rare genetic disorder, he visited a horse farm via Make-A-Wish, and he formed a remarkable bond with a young foal that was named Cody's Wish in his honor. Dorman is being remembered for having the opportunity to watch the racehorse named for him win 2 Breeders' Cup races, the second just a day before Dorman's death. Stunt performer Taraja Ramsess died October 31, 2023 in Atlanta. He died of injuries sustained in a car accident, which also took the lives of 3 of his children at the age of 41. He performed stunts in the Black Panther and Avengers series, and he appeared in the movies as a member of the Border Tribe. Ramsess is also being remembered for his work in stunts and set dressing for movies and TV shows like American Soul, The Walking Dead, and The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. Dr. Wanda Półtawska died October 24, 2023 in Krakow, Poland at the age of 101. She was a Holocaust survivor who was arrested for aiding the Polish resistance and tortured in a concentration camp. Półtawska is being remembered for her later life, during which she became a psychiatrist and formed a close friendship with the priest who would go on to become Pope John Paul II. Rapper C-Night died November 7, 2023, of complications from a stroke at the age of 52. He was a member of the Dove Shack, known for their 1995 hit Summertime in the LBC. Born Arnez Blunt, C-Night is also being remembered for his 2001 solo album Nighttime. Football player Matt Ulrich died in November 2023 at the age of 41. He was an offensive guard who won Super Bowl 41 with the Indianapolis Colts. Ulrich is also being remembered for his college career at Northwestern University, where he was team captain in his senior year. In addition to featuring current deaths in the news, Legacy.com also honors the lives and legacies of notable people who died in the past. Here are some of this week's anniversaries. 15 years ago this week, author and filmmaker Michael Crichton died at the age of 66. He was the best-selling author of Jurassic Park, and he created the TV series ER. 15 years ago this week, singer and songwriter Miriam Mckaba died at the age of 76. She was a pioneer of world music who brought Afropop to the Western world. 17 years ago this week, singer and songwriter Gerald Levert died at the age of 40. Singing with his brothers in the R&B group Levert, he had hits like Casanova and Just Coolin'. 20 years ago this week, singer Bobby Hatfield died at the age of 63. He was half of the Righteous Brothers, and he sang solo on their classic tune Unchained Melody. 45 years ago this week, artist Norman Rockwell died at the age of 84. His illustrations of American life became beloved and iconic. Musician Glenn Frey was born 75 years ago this week. He died in January 2016 at the age of 67. He was the co-lead singer for the Eagles and had solo hits like The Heat Is On and You Belong to the City. Playwright and actor Sam Shepard was born 80 years ago this week. He died in July 2017 at the age of 73. He won a Pulitzer Prize for his play Buried Child and was Oscar-nominated for his performance in The Right Stuff. Actor Art Carney was born 105 years ago this week. He died in November 2003, 20 years ago this week, at the age of 85. He starred in The Honeymooners and won an Oscar for Harry and Tonto. Businesswoman Ruth Handler was born 107 years ago this week. She died in April 2002 at the age of 85. She invented the Barbie doll and was the co-founder and first president of Mattel. Actress Vivien Lee was born 110 years ago this week. She died in July 1967 at the age of 53. She won 2 Oscars for her performances in Gone with the Wind and A Streetcar Named Desire. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags in Kentucky have been lowered to honor the memory of firefighter Regina Huffman of the Coon Creek Volunteer Fire Department and Assistant Chief Joseph Joe Back of the Whitesburg Fire Department, both of whom died in the line of duty. Flags in Ohio have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Marine Corps Lance Corporal Austin B. Schwenk. Flags in Indiana have been lowered to honor the memory of firefighter Dave Phelps and U.S. Army Master Sergeant James Christopher Lasher. Flags in Maryland have been lowered to honor the memory of former Secretary of Agriculture, former State Senator, and former Delegate Lewis R. Riley. Flags in Alaska have been lowered to honor the memory of former legislator and last surviving delegate to the Alaska Constitutional Convention, Vic Fisher. Flags of the Comanche Nation have been lowered to honor the memory of Secretary-Treasurer John David Wani. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. At Legacy.com, any family can publish an obituary in honor of a loved one's memory, online and in local newspapers everywhere. Just visit Legacy.com and select your local community. You can also follow Legacy.com on Facebook and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.